there's no, you pursue it as much as you can, okay? You try as much as you can to do it the right way. The ideal is impossible. Somebody is going to get better care than somebody else. And in ethics of medicine, in ethics of medicine, they will like ask you, okay, there's this rich man here, and there's this poor man here, and they both need a liver transplant. They both need a liver transplant, and there's only one liver. Who are you going to give the liver? Huh? You can't cut it in half. It's only one.
She said cut it in
Cut
half.
it in half. That's Solomon's
Solomon's answer. Cut it in half.
So there's always that dilemma. There's always that struggle in medicine. You are trying to make the system better. Okay? There's never a time you reach Uhuru. Okay? You never get to Uhuru, but you can always aspire to do better and improve, and but sorry, there's no way you can treat everybody equally. It's just not possible. Like in the US, where I have my experience, there's something that we always say, okay, that black pregnant women always have the worst outcome compared to their white pregnant counterparts. It's a very well established fact. And we are working hard to narrow the gap. You do all you can to narrow the gap. Everybody don't get treated equally. So you do the best you can to narrow the gap, so that the gap is not too wide. You try as much as possible to bring the gap closer and closer. So the Uhuru will be for everybody to get the same level of care. Even in the almighty United States of America, everybody don't get the same level of care. Some people have more access to care, and some people have less access to care. And black pregnant women, for some reason, have less access to prenatal and antenatal care. And that has always been like the standard by which they measure some of these things. It's what happens with black pregnant women and white pregnant women. So we try as much as possible to bridge the gap. But you're never going to get to Uhuru where everybody gets it the same. Everybody shows up and gets the same thing. Yeah, they're looking at your insurance. They may even tell you not to look at the insurance. But the hospital, where you say, okay, I'm not going to spend $1,000 and I'm not going to get repaid for my $1,000 that I have spent. And so if somebody comes, can pay me the $1,000, I'm going to give him all the care in the world that he needs. And somebody who comes without the money, you're like, okay, take this medicine and go to see your doctor tomorrow.
I guess the grass isn't always greener.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's equality is the ideal. Equality is the ideal. Is it practical? Does it happen? Not really.
Question 8. Who do you think should be responsible for addressing or fixing the issue of unequal medical access? Individuals, companies, or the government?
The government. The government. Of course, everybody has a role. Everybody has a role, but the number one person or the number one institution is the government. It's the government. For instance, here in Swaziland, the number one hospital is the Nazarene Hospital. Okay? It's a government-funded hospital. And that hospital alone takes care of about 40% 40% of the entire population of this country gets their care from Nazarene. So government plays a very important role everywhere in the world. Everywhere in the world. Of course, there is private sector. But the number one is the government sector. The government sets the rules, the government sets the guidelines, and the government has to fund healthcare. Okay? In every nation in the world, there is a budget for healthcare. Every nation in the world, they have a budget for healthcare. And depending on how important it is to every nation should at least give 5 to 7% of the gross national income to healthcare. Okay? Some government give 1% or 2%. So when the government gives 1 or 2%, you're gonna have a poor healthcare delivery system. Okay? So every government should give at least 5 to 7% of their gross national income to healthcare. In every society, there is government hospitals. In every society. And then there are private hospitals. In the US, we call it for-profit hospitals. Okay? And so, government is the number one. When it comes to healthcare delivery and setting healthcare policies, it's the government that issues the license. The license to practice medicine is issued by the government. The license to run a hospital is issued by the government. Everything that guides how medicine should be practiced is controlled by the government. And so the government is number one. And government has to enforce the rules and make sure that things are being done morally and ethically. Because if you don't have the fear that when you're caught, it's going to cost you, then everybody do whatever they want to do. And so there must be a cost. And who is going to be able to do that is the government. The government power is second to none. It's second to none. There are things that has to happen in the private sector, but when it's all said and done, it's the government. The government must make sure that the inequities are breached. As I said, we never could make it equal. Okay? It's just not possible because we are all still human. But the government should do whatever. It's an ongoing process. It's not a situation you're going to solve in one day. Okay? All you're saying is, let's do it better 10 years from now that we are doing it better than we are doing it today. That's all you can ask for. As long as you are improving and doing it better, then you're walking in the right direction.
Question 9. What do you think would be a realistic and ethical way to improve or reduce this problem?
Government policies, enforcement of the rules. The centerpiece of that question is how government controls things. You cannot allow people to run wild. Okay? In medicine, there is a set standard. It's not like, oh, I'm here, I want to do my own thing. You're there, you want to do your own thing. She's there, she want to do her own thing. There is a set standard that everybody must abide with. Everybody must abide with it.
Question 10. Oh, yeah. Question 10. In your experience, do you find that patients truly understand the risks and benefits of a procedure before giving consent, or is the process often treated as just paperwork?
That's a good question. That's why I told you earlier on, depending on what part of the world you are in, influences what is done. Where I come from, patients really don't have any questions. You just come as a doctor and you say, hey, you have appendix and we're going to operate on you. You say, okay, yes, sign the here. And the patient dare to ask you any question, you get offended. Okay? Compared to the US. Okay? if you have appendix to be removed, a doctor has to come and sit down with you and will tell you everything that is going to happen, how it is going to happen. Okay? They will go through everything and they will explain everything to you. We're going to put you to sleep. We're going to make sure you don't feel any pain, and you go through a checklist. There's a checklist that you have to go through. One by one, you tick it off. Okay? And at the end, you ask the patient, do you have any question that I could answer for you? This is standard procedure. Do you have any question? And you, as the doctor, has to answer every question that the patient has to his or her satisfaction. Everything that the patient asks has to be answered. And at the time of answering all these questions and going through all the checklists of explaining to the patient, this is what's going to happen. And not only the doctor is going to come talk to the patient, the anesthetist that is going to put the patient to sleep is going to come and talk to the patient. The nurse that will be circulating in the operating room will come, introduce themselves and say, hey, I'm going to be your nurse during this procedure. And I'm going to be there with you all through the time you're there. And it's when all these processes has taken place that you will now say, I need your consent to go ahead with this procedure. Okay? And then the patient will sign, saying, I give my consent. And in that explanation that I'm telling you earlier on, you talk to them about complications, things that could go wrong. That has to be explained to them. Are you going to bleed? Is there any possibility you're going to get infection? All that has to be explained. Okay? And so, as an adult, it's now time for the patient to consent. Okay? If that patient doesn't give his consent, you can't touch that patient. Okay? As an adult who can make a decision for themselves, they have to say, everything has been explained to me. I understand everything that's been spoken to me about. And not only are you asking them, not only that you're talking to them about it, you're going to give it to them in writing. They have a copy of all these things that I'm telling you, given to them. And so they will sign. Maybe a copy of that will be taken and put in their file, and then you hold onto a copy of the informed consent. It's called informed consent. Before they make that decision, they have been completely, totally informed to say, this is what is going to happen. These are the likely things that could go right. Of course, you want to start on a positive note. You say, hey, we're going to get you in there. We're going to go in. We're going to take your appendix out and everything. And after that, you're going to be fine. But there's also this possibility that when we go in, you may bleed. You may get infected after the procedure. They will do everything humanly possible to mitigate any complications. Yeah, we call it complications. And so you have to explain all that. All that has to be made, the patient has to be made aware of all possible scenarios.
Yeah.
Everything has to be explained. See, in the first world, this is how it's done. In the where we come from, the doctor knows everything. The doctor comes in, tells you, you're going to do appendix, sign here. And you better sign as quickly as possible, or the guy is going to walk out on you and say, you're not serious. But, you know, in the advanced nations of the world, you have to take time and make sure that all this is explained to the patient, to the way they understand it. That they understand, and they give you what is called informed consent. To say, yes, go ahead, put me to sleep and remove my appendix.
Not asking questions does not feel anything.
Yeah, exactly. And it is encouraged. You encourage the patients to ask questions. You ask them, please, do you have any questions?
Just to add something, they also explain the recovery process because some of the surgeries you may have to go to rehab, to recover and all of that. Especially you want to go to orthopedics. That's when they have orthopedic surgery. Most of the time they go to the
Rehab center.
rehab center. So you have to explain all of that to them. You can't do all of that and then at the end of it you say, oh, by the way, you have to go to rehab now. No, they that's part of what they consent that's gonna happen.
Okay. Question 11. How has the rise of medical misinformation from social media changed the way you interact with patients and the level of trust they have in your professional ethics?
Oh, that's a very good question. That's a very good question. Because
Can you repeat the question?
How has the rise of medical misinformation from social media changed the way you interact with patients and the level of trust they have in your professional advice?
yeah, that's a very good. You see this phone?
Yeah.
You see this? You have it, I have it. This is a full library right here. That's a full library. Any information you want, you can Google. Anything. Patients come in and they already have, what they have learned online. And so, as a doctor, you really have to be very prepared. You have to be very well educated, very well versed, know what you know, and be able to give the proper information. Okay? I'll give you an example. During the COVID, there was a lot of misinformation, and that killed a lot of people. Okay? There was so much misinformation that took place during that pandemic, and that cost a lot of lives. Okay? So misinformation is a major deal in the world today, and not just only in medicine, but in other areas of life. People are telling you to drink pepper. Pepper is going to kill COVID, especially in Africa. There were just so many things that people are cooking up all manner of things, and they're like, oh yeah, you drink this and COVID will kill COVID. Garlic.
Yeah.
So those are misinformations that we have to contend with. And as I said, you have to be very well versed. Patients still trust their doctor. Okay? Medicine is still one of the most trusted professions in the world. They're like number 4. People still believe that you give them the proper information. And so my patients come in with something they have found on the social media. I'll sit down and I'll say, this is not right, this is not correct, and this is what I know that is correct. And I hope that you believe me and not believe what is in me. And to my surprise, majority of my patients will believe what I'm telling them than what social media is saying. You're still the professional. Most of the people putting the information on social media are not doctors. Okay? They are not doctors. They never went to medical school. And so, depending on how you treat your patients, depending on the relationship you build with your patients, is going to determine how much they're going to believe compared to what they are reading on social media. And so you just have to portray good and knowledgeable information to your patients, and to say to them, as a trained doctor, this information right here is not correct. What I'm telling you is the evidence-based thing that will be appropriate for you. And so Misinformation is a major deal, a major issue in the world today. It's a big deal, and it affects everything. It affects everything, not just only medicine, but every other area of life. People will literally lie to you and tell you that is the gospel truth. And it takes, it's going to take discernment for you to know what is the truth and what is a lie. And so you, as the doctor, it's your responsibility to educate your patients and to say, this here is not real. Okay? I'll tell you something. Immunization is a very important aspect of what we do in pediatrics. Okay? Making sure that kids get their immunization. Very important. Do you know that there was a time people came up with the information that measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine causes autism? Okay? It became a big issue. It became a big issue that parents now says, no, my children are not going to get MMR just because of what somebody said in the social media platform. They had no proof. They had no evidence. They now tied the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine to autism. That's misinformation. That's complete, total misinformation. And we are like, where did people come up with this? And people started believing it. People started believing it, and they said, you see, Dr. Koro, we believe you that this shot here, we have read that it causes autism, and we don't want our child to get this shot. And if the parents say you can't give something, you can't.
And some of it comes from genetic.
Thank you. So misinformation has become a real major headache for us in medicine. A real major headache. A real major headache. And they will just bias people's mind. And reasonable people that you were dealing with before will now come up with what they have read or seen on social media. And you know what? And because children stopped getting those shots, we started having outbreak of measles. Children started, this is something that we almost got abolished. Now people started getting measles in California and in New York, because these are big metropolis. You have a lot of people. People started coming down with measles. And so misinformation is a major big deal. It's a big headache to the way you relate to your patients. But you must relate to your patients in such a way that they trust you and that they know that you are giving them the right information and not what they are reading or seeing on social media.
Given that vaping is listed as a specific concern in the focus area, do you believe medical community is doing enough to ethically warn the youth about the long-term effects?
No, we are not doing enough. We are not doing enough. It's a big headache too. It's a big headache in the US, and because they make it look cool. They make it look like if you really want to belong to the in-group, and they make it in flavors. It tastes good, it feels good, then you are causing a terrible damage to your lungs. Vaping is so dangerous to the lungs that I've seen kids die because you cause such a severe, acute injury to your lungs that even the intubation couldn't save that child. And so they are doing, in the US right now, they are doing a massive public announcement trying to educate people on the dangers of vaping. It's something that is being fought against But you know, habits are very easy to form. People just want to do what's cool. People want to do what's cool, especially as teenagers. You just want to be like your peers. You don't want to be left out. And so, it's a major headache. I've been in a committee where this issue has been discussed. How do you alert your teenagers to be aware of the danger of vaping? And we are mounting a fight. We are mounting an ad campaign to discourage teens from getting involved with vaping. And the best you can do is hope that they will listen and that they will follow the right medical information and not follow being cool, being in the in crowd, and trying to be like every other person. Being like every other person never gets anybody anywhere in life. You gotta know what's right, and you gotta do what is right. And so, it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
It's cool not to vape.
It's cool not to vape. Yeah.
It's cool not to vape. So is there vaping here in Eswatini?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yes. Because everything is global now.
Yeah.
Everything is global. Something happening in America will last in America for only one day. And it will be all over the world.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's a global village.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to be in the in crowd. And these multinationals, the people that produces these things, they know how to get it out there. Before the government say hello, it's already here in Swaziland. So the government is always one step behind. The government is always one step behind. So before the government now starts to make rules to guard these things, it's already on the ground. And people are already doing it. And so, it's a global village. And there's this TV, there's TikTok, there's Facebook, everybody is showing it. And what you do here, people, any corner of the world can see it. If they have this, and they have the data, and they have what they need, the Wi-Fi. It could be seen anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And so,
And these companies know how to.
they know how, oh
they know
my
how
goodness.
To predict the future.
They know, and they move so fast.
Yeah.
Before you say hello, it's in the remotest of remote village in Swaziland, where you don't even have food to eat, but the vaping is already there. We went to Mexico, and we went to this remote place in Mexico. There was Coca-Cola drink. And you're like, how did Coca-Cola reach this place? You're like, how on earth did Coca-Cola reach this place? And so they know how to, even though Coke is not the same thing as vaping, but I'm just saying the companies that manufacture these things know how to push them out. They know how. I say it will only last a day in America, and the next day it's in Swaziland. That's how fast things happen.
And they can predict future trends.
That's it. They call it the mega trends. They can tell you how things are going to happen in the next 10, 20 years. It's called the mega trends. And there are people who just sit down and all they do is to study these things. They can tell you what's going to make money in the next 10 years. What events are going to make money in the next 10 years. And those that know how to tap into those information, that's why you can go from being a millionaire today and tomorrow you are a billionaire. Yep. It's called the mega trends. They started during my time when I was in the university. That's when the word mega trends began to, people began to study. This is how the world is going to be shaped. in the next 10 years. This is how the world is going to be shaped in the next 20 years. And they begin to strategize and begin to make plans. And so you are here sleeping. Somebody is like, this is what's going to happen 10 years from now. We're gonna.
You're sleeping and they're making money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're very smart. Yeah, you're sleeping and I'm making money. And that's what happens.
Okay, question 13. When medical resources like beds or specific medications are scarce, what ethical framework do you use to decide who receives care?
Those are tough questions. Those are tough questions. Well, the issue is you look at the need. Who needs it most?
Yeah.
It's not who has the money. Yeah, it's who needs it most. And this issue that you're asking questions about right now came into play during COVID. When doctors now begins to ration care. It's called care rationing. You don't have enough beds.
Yeah.
You don't have enough ventilators.
Yeah.
You're gonna choose. You're gonna make a determination who is gonna get the beds and who is gonna get the ventilator. So COVID was a very good example of this. This question that you're asking, COVID brought it to fore. Look, in my first 25 years, this issue never came up. We had enough resources for everybody. Anybody wants a hospital bed, you get a hospital bed. Then COVID came, 3 patients may be competing for 1 hospital bed.
And some people are sleeping in the hall.
And some people are sleeping in the hallways, and some people are sleeping in the floor. And still, it was not even enough. It was still not enough because the system was overwhelmed. The system was stretched to the elastic limit. And so, if you see somebody is not going to make it, as a doctor, you know it's too far gone. You're going to give the bed to somebody you think that has the chance of surviving or making it. So if somebody is 90 years old,
Yeah.
okay, and there's a 20-year-old man, so these are now the factors we begin to put into consideration. The 90-year-old man has lived a long life. The 20-year-old is just beginning, and so given that option, you're gonna give your shots to the 20-year-old. And so COVID brought that issue to the fore. And so it's gonna be, who is it gonna benefit the best? The 90-year-old man here. And they used to give us these scenarios when I was in medical school. Oh yeah, you have a 90-year-old man here, and you have a 20-year-old man here, and they need something exotic medical care. Who are you going to give it to? So there's always going to be a choice. There's always going to be a situation where doctors may be asked to. It's a very difficult choice. It's a very difficult choice for you as a human being to now decide who is going to get what. And so many doctors face that issue during COVID. So many doctors have to make that judgment call. Who is going to get the bed? Who is going to get the ventilator? Who is going to get the oxygen? And so it's a reality. And I pray that I never experience COVID again in my lifetime. That I never see that kind of situation where doctors are forced to make this kind of gut-wrenching decisions. The system was overwhelmed. The system was overwhelmed. And because the system was straight the way it was, possibly people died that shouldn't die. There's a very good possibility that people died who should not have died. There's nothing anybody could You do the best you can.
Yeah.
And just pray that that's not a common thing. That we always have enough beds, enough ventilators, enough everything for everybody that needs it. But if you like in my community, we had a hospital bed of about 500 beds.
Yeah.
That's our capacity. And if you have 2,000 patients, what are you gonna do? You don't have any way to find 2,000 beds in a hard drop like that.
Question 14. As medicine moves towards digital records and AI-assisted diagnosis, what are the primary ethical concerns regarding patient privacy and the human touch in healthcare?
Yeah, that's where medicine is going right now. And that's where medicine is going. And so, as I said, the government has to keep pace. This was things we were not even looking at 10 years ago. And so in most societies, we don't have any rules guarding all these things you're asking me. And so AI is here. They say it makes things better. I've never had the opportunity to use AI. Okay? But it's coming. So the doctors of tomorrow will have to lean on AI. But the issue of that human touch is still needed. You can't really take care of a patient without that human-to-human interaction. I don't think AI will take that away from medicine. I don't think so. But the issue of AI is something that is being discussed. It's being discussed all over. And so we are hoping that policies will come up. Like as I told you, this was not an issue 10 years ago. It's an issue now. And government is always one step behind. Government is always one step behind. And so government has to come up with policies. I don't even know if Swaziland has any policies that guides anything remotely connected to AI.
No, give it to her so she can hold it for you.
Okay. Okay. And so I don't even know if the governments, like the African governments, have any AI policies as it governs. And medical records right now is also supposed to be electronic. Okay? Medical records are supposed to be electronic in the sense that if it's electronic and it's all connected, the doctor in Nazarene can get your medical information even if you went to Look Commission. That's the advantage of electronic medical records. It gives, so doctors will know exactly what was done for you when you went to Look Commission.
Yeah.
So they don't have to guess.
Yeah.
They don't have to guess, oh, what was it that was done? And you are like, oh, me, I don't remember. But they can connect electronically with the system. If the system are talking to one another, you gotta have a system that is talking to one another.
Yeah.
So that when you go to Look Commission and the doctor at Manzini can look up the records and see what was done for you when you went to Look Commission. And so electronic medical record is very important. That's been in place for over 15 years now. And so what it does is that it makes your information accessible, easily accessible. You don't have to carry the paperwork all over. The doctor will because you've given permission, and they could look at your medical information from any place in Eswatini without asking you to bring the paper medical record. So the electronic medical record is very, very important. These are technologies that will help to deliver better medical care. Yeah, so that's why all this is coming up now. It just gives you a better access to care and helps to eliminate worst and mistakes.
Yeah.
So they don't want any mistakes, because see where Luke Commission is,
Yeah.
and see where Nazarene is.
Yeah.
It's at
Yeah.
least an hour drive apart.
Mm-hmm.
But with electronic medical records, you could have access to anybody's information
Yeah.
in 10 seconds. You could have the information in 10 seconds, and it shows everything that was done at Luke Commission, and vice versa. And so once the system is talking to each other, you can pull up that information easily.
And with how we're moving into the modern world of technology, I've seen movies where surgeries are being done
Robotics.
by computers.
Robotics,
robots.
yeah. It's called robotic surgery, yeah. And it's like science fiction. What is happening?
Yeah.
It's like science fiction. There was a case that I was looking at where a doctor in England was doing robotic surgery from England on a patient that is in Spain.
Yeah, that is hard to believe.
Yeah, that is hard to believe.
Yeah, no.
That is hard to believe. Yeah, it's called robotics. And so those are the modern things. Those are the modern things that are happening. And they are happening very, very fast.
Yeah.
Very, very fast. And so government now has to come and set up rules and regulations to guide all these things.
Last question. Do you have...
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. I'm just kidding.
Do you have any further thoughts on this matter?
Of course. Like as I said, it's an ongoing issue.
Yeah.
It's never a static situation. Like we said, the trend is tending towards high-tech stuff.
Yeah.
And we must not lose the human touch of it. We have to take advantage of the advances. You can't say, I can't tell you to practice medicine the way I did 20 years ago. No, it's not gonna work. There are things now available to us in medicine that was not there 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And so those things are going to help in providing better care for patients.
Yeah.
So you can't fight against it. The one thing that is constant in life is change. Change is constant. Things are never going to remain the same. And you like, I did it this way today, and 10 years later, I'm doing it exactly the same way I did it 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That's not life. There is always going to be changes. Changes are bound to happen. Changes are bound to happen. And so because changes is good, you can't run away from change. And so we have to accommodate the change. And of course, we have to make policies to guide us in those changes. If you don't, then everybody will do their own thing. And when everybody does their own thing, it's never to the benefit of the patients. So the government has to come up with policies that will help to guide everybody to make sure that we are all doing it the right way.
Yeah.
And as long as we do it the right way, which is the most important thing, is to make sure we take excellent, good care of our patients. That's medicine is take care of your patients. Your patient's interest is number one. It's number one. The interest of the patient is number one. And so everything we do with all the new advances that is coming on board is to make sure that the patients are properly and ethically taken care of. These changes are coming, and we have to put them to good use. And as long as it benefits the patients, delivers good care, hey, I'm all for it. But we have to do it with proper guidelines, proper ethical and moral way. We cannot do anything to take advantage of our patients. We serve them, we serve them, we serve them, and make sure that you are well taken care of. And as long as you do that as a doctor, you've done your work.
Yeah.
And you've abided by the Hippocratic oath that
Yeah.
guides the ethics of medicine. This thing was over 5,000 years old. Okay? The Hippocratic oath is over 5,000 years old.
Yeah.
And it's still relevant today. Everything stated in that oath is still relevant today. And so, there are going to be changes. There are going to be, new things coming down the road. And we just use them as appropriately and as good as possible for the betterment of our patients. And as long as we do that, we are bound to do what is right for the patients. But the role of the government cannot be overemphasized. The government has to keep pace with the policies that will have to guide these things. So, is there any more questions I can answer for you?
No.
You finished.
Thank you so much for the interview.
It's been great. It's been great. So anyway this can help you, we are all for it. Yeah, I've done this so many times, both for people in medical school, people going to medical school. Somehow people always call on me to say, hey, come, we want to interview you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
So it's a great joy. And I hope you make an A and get your credits and graduate and look for bigger and better things to do. God bless you.
Yeah.
God bless you.
God bless you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You have done an excellent job.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Very interesting question.
Thank God my battery lasted me. I'm already on 1%.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.